This is really my pleasure to be here today and deliver first speech. And yeah, I'm so excited. So let me use my speech, if you don't mind. Okay, so as I've been introduced, my name is Jinsung Choi, and working for Deutsche Telekom, and also I'm chairing the Oren Alliance, hoping that everyone is already familiar with what we are doing in Oren Alliance, but I will, get you up to speed, throughout my presentation. And I don't know if you like this picture on the left-hand side, Lego, right? So it's just very self-explanatory. So it represented what exactly we, Oren Alliance, want to achieve. So it's a modular, open architecture, open interfaces, etc., like Lego blocks. So let me, once again, good morning. And I'm going to talk about Oren Alliance and how we have been evolving so far, and also its relevance to especially the open source community. And this year, we've reached our very, very big first milestone, which is commercializations, like AT&T, Dish Network, Verizon US, Docomo, Rakuten, and Deutsche Telekom, my company, Vodafone and others, all start to rolling out Oren. And there will be many more Oren operators in the near futures. So that means what we've been working towards is not just a document, specification, and prototype, POC. It is a commercial deployments happening right now around you, around us. So before I get into more technical part, allow me to clarify the definition of Open RAN as nicely outlined by the UK government. I think that this part is important because there are so many similar name acronyms, VRAN, XRAN, Cloud RAN, you name it, and it's like alphabet soup. So it's always important to better understand what exactly Open RAN means and what are the key principles. So we are pushing, So at this nice definition done by UK government. At its heart, there are 4 Open RAN principles shown on the right-hand side. It's probably not so much readable, but you can see only the highlight, the keywords: open disaggregation, and then and standard-based compliance, and demonstrated the interoperability, and last but not least is the implementation neutrality. So let me give you some more details. So first, open disaggregation. So this principle supports moving away from traditional RAN solutions that comes from one vendor, single vendor. Instead, Open RAN promotes using a system where different parts of the RAN system come from various vendors and connect through standard open interfaces. So this approach of breaking down the system into smaller, interchangeable, interoperable parts aim to create a diverse multi-vendor environment and encouraging innovations. Second, standard-based compliance. So the adoption of industry-driven standards for interface specification is central to achieving sustainable multi-vendor RAN disaggregations. So this compliance ensures that as a RAN develops, it stays as a unified system capable of incorporating parts that meet established technical specification, and this helps maintain compatibility and durability of the system over time. Third one, demonstrated interoperability. This is also critical, demonstrated interoperabilities. Beyond the theoretical compatibility, Open RAN emphasized the practical, empirical validation of interoperability between the components. This principle necessitates rigorous testing in real-world scenarios to ensure that various elements of the RAN system can operate cohesively in the dynamic network environment. Last but not least, it's an implementation neutrality, another critical principle. Open RAN framework is based on the idea of being technologically neutral, meaning it doesn't favor any vendor-specific technologies. So this approach allows for a diverse network setup, yet gives operator the full flexibility to create yet standardized solutions using the best combination of hardware and software. So next slides, quite busy slides. So all these small, tiny icons represent the companies, member of the O-RAN Alliance. So we started O-RAN Alliance in 2018, already 6 years ago, and we have been growing very rapidly. And our key principle is to driving the openness and inclusivity and intelligence. We are not just an organization. We are a movement for changes and motivated by the belief that the innovation should be user-driven, customer-driven, data-driven, AI-driven, and acceptable to all. So first, I want to say huge thank you to everyone who has helped engaged us with us along the way, and our members and people, experts, software, open source developers, and who contributed all their hard workings to who made everything happen so far. So we have 32 operators globally, serving then more than 5 billion mobile users today, and providing that O-RAN isn't just a concept, it is a reality being embraced global scale. And on top, we have about 270 contributors, the member company, and also more than 3,500 active participants, active experts. And so our community has been growing and getting more stronger and more diverse than ever. And we also run the O-RAN open source projects. So we are not just an organization who's just developing the specification, but we do also many other kind of commercializations track and also development track, implementation, such as open source projects. And this O-RAN OSC project is right under Linux Foundation. So we have a strong partnership with the Linux Foundation. So I will talk about more detail later. And last but not least, we are very much, personally, very glad to see that, this leading NEP, Ericsson, actively contributing in O-RAN Alliance, including OSC, and also they are joining the other open source community, Open Air Interface Software Alliance. We have Irfan here in this room. So it's quite encouraging. Yeah? So Ericsson is really committed to support this Open RAN and open source. So in the past 6 years alone, we've published hundreds of technical specification documents laying the groundwork for the commercial O-RAN solution developments. And our work impact is recognized also globally, especially with the standard organizations such as EU ETSI, and integrating our specification into their public standard through what's called the ETSI pass process. So our specification is now became ETSI standard. And this is a big deal because it means our work is helping to set the global standards on how RAN network should built and run. So next slide, advancing global standards for Open RAN. As we push forward, our commitment to developing robust, detailed specification continue to grow, particularly as we advance to the more so-called stage 3, the details at the parameter levels for practical implementation. And so far, we delivered more than 112 specifications. They are all available on our website, so you can download it. Yeah. And these are, and also it includes the tested specification, which is also very, very important part of our job, our work. So initial critical specifications such as open front hole was already adopted as part of the EDGE standard. So it's not only an ORAN specification, but also EDGE standard. And many more other ORAN specifications, including security, under review by EDGE. So hopefully soon they all become part of the EDGE standard. As we navigate the evolving landscape, particularly in a RAN intelligent controller and SMO, service management orchestrator, we are actively working on additional potential synergies with other industry bodies. As you can see, there's also a logo. It's a little bit bigger than before. So logos, those are the logos of various international bodies. We have been established kind of a collaboration through, for example, MOU. We established a lot of MOU, for example, ITU, ATIS in US, and TTA, and etc. And among them, also we have been doing active dialogue with the national SDOs, and the intention is to make them adopt our specification and publish it as their national standard, like EDGE. So from the open source ORAN implementation or ORAN development perspective, our robust partnership with both Linux Foundation and Open Air Interface Software Alliance is absolutely critical. So this collaboration enhances ORAN Alliance mission by leveraging collective expertise and resources. And open source development allows for transparent, collaborative, and rapid innovation in ORAN. And by working closely with both Linux Foundation and OAI Software Alliance, we can foster a more diverse and competitive ecosystem and driving advancement in ORAN technologies that are accessible, implementable, and also beneficial to the stakeholders. So that brings me to this nice picture and the Linux Foundation Open Air Interface partnerships. I've already mentioned it, this partnership. And here I want to talk about more synergies through the ongoing exchanges between the ORAN Alliance Working Group and the open source software community. So we have an ORAN Alliance Working Group. We have an open source community here, like the Linux Foundation, OAI. And this kind of, feedback, exchanges, this exchange and feedback is critical for the further developing our complex ORAN specifications. So this closed loop feedback loop helps ensure that the features and specification by ORAN, each working group in ORAN Alliance for building their specification actually perfectly match what's needed in the real life, in the real world. And it also makes sure that the software we develop is high performing and reliable, secure. So by continually matching our technical work in various working groups with those insights coming from open source community, we ensure our progress in ORAN technology is solid, effective, and meet all this market demand, market needs. And lastly, before I move on to the next chart, let me say a few words about my company, Deutsche Telekom's engagement with the open source projects, especially the Linux Foundations. My company is actively involved in open source community, contributing to and also collaborating with particularly in the ONAP and now in NEPIO as well. This involvement in ONAP and NEPIO include participating in project technical leadership and contributing code, utilizing community feedback and developing to enhance our DT ORAN SMO. It's called the TNAP. So it's a TNAP, not ONAP, TNAP. T is our brand. And we are getting all the benefits from community-driven innovations here happening in Linux Foundation. I really, really thank you for your support. Brings me a little technical topic. Let me start with say a few words about the ORAN architecture. This is The picture is not so high quality, but bear with me. So let me try to describe it very briefly. The basic idea, once again, is, of course, the full disaggregation horizontally, vertically of the RAN system. A standout feature of ORAN is its emphasis on intelligence and programmability. And with the introduction of a RAN intelligent controller, ORAN allows the integration of AI, machine learning, directly into the network operations. And this means, for example, real-time analytics, or non-real-time, real-time, semi-real-time, near real-time. This is also another confusing terminologies, but mostly near real-time analytics, enhancing network optimization, automated functions that significantly improve both performance and reliability. And connecting these components, so we have open interfaces as shown here. This interface, open interface, unlike the proprietary ones in traditional RAN, are based on open standard, which promote interoperability and flexibility. And this setup not only encourages a vibrant ecosystem of vendors and solutions, but also paves the way for rapid innovation and customizations. ORAN architecture supports the idea of virtualization, cloudification, softwareizations, allowing network functions to run on generic hardware platform, which reduce the further cost and increase the speed of deployments. O-Cloud is it was another invention from ORAN Alliance. O-Cloud is a component within the ORAN architecture that refers to the virtualized computing infrastructure specifically designed to support the Open RAN function, network functions. O-Cloud consists of compute, storage, and networking components. O-Cloud interfaces are critical for ensuring that it can communicate with the other parts of ORAN system and external system. And some of the key interfaces include the management interface and also orchestration interfaces. So next is our chapter 1, so open front hall. ORAN Alliance chapter 1 is open front hall. So our first chapter is open front hall interfaces. Open front hall means interface between radio unit, distributed unit, where the baseband functions are executed. So so far, what have ORAN Alliance achieved so far in this space? ORAN Open Front Hall is a critical component in ORAN and designed to standardize and simplify the way the radio data is transmitted between the radio unit and DU. And this front hall traditionally refers to a high speed, very, very high speed, and low latency link that carries these radio signals. So it's a very, very challenging task. And our selection for the split point was as shown on the picture. It's not so clear there, but there's a check mark, green color check mark. That was the split point ORAN Alliance chose. It's called 7.2. So we chose it deliberately because we believe this is the right split point which make optimizing the balance between the performance and flexibility, low latency, efficient performance, reduced transport bandwidth, and easier integration multi-vendor solution, and also supporting the beamforming, advanced antenna technology like MIMO. So we have been very successfully completed this mission. Still yet one remaining part is the uplink of optimization. This will be done before the end of this year. So this is our major milestone, successfully achieved, check mark. What's next? Next is SMO. Once again, SMO is a service management orchestration framework. And this is a software layer. This is a software layer. This is vertical disaggregations. Unlike, which is another crucial component of ORAN architecture, this framework is designed to oversee and manage the various elements and functions within the ORAN network. So key points. Number one, multi-vendor interoperability here, SMO, multi-vendor interoperability. Secondly, efficiency, scalability. Thirdly, flexibility. And lastly, innovation enablement. So that was the key objective of SMO. And the chart you are seeing here is it's a new diagram called decoupled SMO. So we noticed that decoupled SMO is inevitable, so we have done some job and then published this diagram, not yet incorporated into the specification, but it will be incorporated in the coming specification. So this is our chapter 2, O-RAN Alliance, and I have a high expectation, and also this is the best opportunity you guys, open source community, can make a bigger impact than ever before. So both Nefio, ONEP, it's a highly SMO related, especially Nefio is currently focusing on integration with the O-RAN SMO. So this is the holy grail for Linux foundations. So this is our chapter 2, and I'm expecting SMO to be commercialized sometime later this year. So my time is done, so let me finish my speak by saying a few words about the key takeaway. So the adoption of O-RAN is accelerating globally. This is important, commercialization. We achieved the first milestone, which is open front hall. Secondly, open ecosystem. O-RAN ecosystem itself is thriving and growing, and also our priority is more approaching toward the softwares, especially open source softwares now. So then we hope that you are excited, you are interested in engaging in O-RAN projects, open source projects. So let's achieve the win-win partnership. So that's all for me today. Thank you for your attention.